The East Coast, West Coast thing is a musical thing. That's separate. That's a whole thing separate to itself. That's a musical thing. Where we have been beefing about whose music is better or which is this or which is that.
It just seems like it's gotten
from
real
the beginning.
bad
It has
now.
because I'm like a lightning rod because I'm attacking New York's finest.
Angie Martinez is now sharing the full, unfiltered story about why her interview with Tupac was never released. And it seems Sean Diddy Combs had everything to do with it. There was even a time when the interview was thought to be nothing more than an urban legend. However, it's been alleged that Diddy pressured Angie to suppress the recording because Tupac revealed disturbing industry secrets that could have exposed Diddy's true character. Tupac reportedly didn't hold back during the interview. It was as if his explosive diss track, Hit 'Em Up, had been turned into a podcast. Angie, weary of the threats she received, is now revealing everything about Diddy's efforts to silence her. There are also rumors about whether federal authorities have the recording and claims that Diddy allegedly threatened Angie's life if she released it. Reflecting on that time, Angie admitted, "I couldn't air it on the radio because I genuinely feared someone might die. My intention was to de-escalate the tension, but Tupac was so furious and passionate that I believed broadcasting the interview would only make things worse." Today, Angie Martinez is celebrated as the voice of New York, having had an illustrious 28-year career at Hot 97 and 105.1 FM. But back in the 1990s, when she was still establishing herself as a rapper and radio personality, being invited to interview Tupac was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. At that time, Tupac was one of the biggest names in the music world, and the East Coast-West Coast conflict was at its height. For Angie, it felt like a ticket to stardom. Little did she know that the interview would alter the course of her career forever. Angie Martinez was the ideal choice to interview Tupac, given her unique background and rapid rise in the world of hip-hop media. Let's look at how she transformed from a rebellious teen into one of the most iconic voices in hip-hop and pop culture. Born to a Puerto Rican father and a mother of Puerto Rican, Cuban, and Dominican descent, Angie spent her childhood moving between Brooklyn and Washington Heights. Raised primarily by her single mother, Angie developed a rebellious streak during her teenage years. She started hanging out on the streets, drinking, smoking, and most importantly, immersing herself in hip-hop and rap. Concerned about Angie's direction, her mother sent her to live with her aunt in Miami. Later, her mother joined her in Miami, securing a job as a radio programming manager. This early exposure to the world of broadcasting and music ignited Angie's passion. At just 15, Angie landed an internship at a radio station. Her front-row access to hip-hop's latest trends and the chance to interact with influential figures laid the foundation for her future career. She soon became the protege of DJ Funkmaster Flex, quickly learning the ropes and perfecting her on-air persona. By the late 1980s, Angie was co-hosting afternoon radio segments, interviewing major names like Jay-Z, DMX, and Mariah Carey. Angie's charisma and talent earned her a dedicated fan base despite occasional clashes with radio rival Wendy Williams. In 2014, after 2 decades at Hot 97, Angie shocked fans by moving to Power 105.1. Rumors swirled about a potential falling out with her Hot 97 colleagues, but Angie clarified that she remained on good terms with Funkmaster Flex, Ebro Darden, and Sifa Sounds. That same year, Jay-Z signed Angie to Roc Nation, marking a turning point in her music career. Encouraged by rapper KRS-One, Angie ventured into rapping and contributed to his 1997 album, I Got Next. Her feature on the song Heartbeat gained massive attention, propelling her further into the music spotlight. Angie's collaboration on the remix of Ladies' Night alongside Missy Elliott, Lisa Left Eye Lopes, and Da Brat became a platinum hit, cementing her status in the music industry. Angie's success continued with her debut album Up Close and Personal in 2001, followed by the even more successful Animal House in 2002. Her music career flourished alongside her radio prominence, making her a household name in urban media and music. Despite her success, Angie faced significant challenges. In 2019, she was in a severe car accident that nearly took her life. During her recovery, Angie reassessed her priorities, leading to the creation of her podcast, IRL. Angie's career wasn't without its controversies. One of the most notable was her decades-long feud with Diddy. In her memoir, My Voice, Angie admitted to disliking Diddy, though she emphasized it wasn't personal, it was professional. She described Diddy's relentless self-promotion as clashing with her style and values. While others sought to curry favor with Diddy, Angie kept her distance, finding his approach too aggressive and self-serving. This tension with Diddy was deeper than it appeared. Angie Martinez once recounted an uncomfortable encounter with Diddy that left her shaken. While the incident wasn't entirely unexpected, it added to a series of interactions that left Angie with an increasingly negative impression of him. Despite her discomfort, Angie chose not to air her grievances publicly, believing that not everything needed to be shared. One of the most significant moments in Angie's career was her interview with Tupac Shakur. At the time, Angie was still climbing the ladder in radio, and interviewing Tupac during the height of the East Coast versus West Coast feud was a milestone opportunity. However, Angie only released about 10 minutes of the 2-hour interview. Why? The content was explosive. During the interview, Tupac discussed the East Coast versus West Coast feud, emphasizing its musical roots. He said, "It's all about music. I'm just like a lightning rod because I'm attacking New York's self-proclaimed king, Biggie." Tupac criticized how New York rallied behind Biggie when it was beneficial, but dismissed him when it wasn't. He highlighted the hypocrisy, saying, "When Biggie came out here, he'd shout Brooklyn's in the house, but nobody accused him of starting a war. But when I say West Side, it hurts people's feelings." Tupac argued he was being misunderstood, and much of the tension came from how people interpreted actions, such as the infamous New York, New York music video by the Dog Pound. He explained he wasn't part of the video, didn't write or produce the track, and was in jail when it was completed. Still, the video, featuring the Dog Pound stomping on New York landmarks, exacerbated the rivalry. Tupac expressed confusion over why his pride in the West Coast offended so many, saying, "I never disrespected New York. I just said where I'm from is the best coast. Why does that upset people?" Angie's interview with Tupac took place during a time of intense violence and tension between the coasts. Tupac was candid and emotional, sharing both brilliant insights and fiery declarations of anger. Angie admitted she felt conflicted about airing the interview. "If I aired this, more people would die," she said, referencing the extreme animosity fueled by the rivalry. Tupac reportedly used the platform to air grievances and deliver pointed messages to specific individuals, making Angie feel like a vessel for his statements. According to Angie, Tupac revealed dark industry secrets that many were determined to keep buried. The revelations were so damaging that she believed releasing the full interview would lead to violence or even deaths. The East Coast-West Coast feud had already claimed lives, including those of Tupac and Biggie. Angie feared the interview would escalate the already deadly conflict. Fat Joe later revealed in an interview that Angie told him her decision to withhold the interview was rooted in the fear that its release could lead to further loss of life. Reflecting on this, he acknowledged the tension surrounding the feud and the impact the interview could have had. Fat Joe acknowledged Angie's decision to withhold the Tupac interview as wise, saying, "When lives are at stake, everyone involved becomes accountable." He noted how media coverage amplified the East Coast-West Coast feud, turning what might have been a minor rivalry into a deadly conflict. Angie likely realized the interview's explosive potential and chose caution over sensationalism, even though releasing it could have brought her immense fame and fortune. The interview took place when Tupac was fresh out of jail and at the height of his career. Angie's decision not to release it avoided adding fuel to an already dangerous fire. Pac was angry. He was calling out everyone, Fat Joe remarked, underscoring the volatility of the situation. But the story doesn't end there. Allegedly, Diddy played a more sinister role in suppressing the interview. It's rumored that he sent his associates to pressure Angie, ultimately forcing her to keep the interview under wraps for her safety. While it's unclear how Diddy became aware of the interview's contents, speculation points to someone on Angie's team leaking the details to him. Diddy, upon learning that Tupac made allegations that could have jeopardized his career, allegedly took swift action to ensure it never aired. Angie herself has stated that Tupac revealed things so scandalous that lives could have been at risk if the interview were released. Given the tension between Tupac and Diddy, fueled by Tupac's belief that Diddy was involved in his first shooting, it's no surprise that Diddy might have been a primary target in the interview. Sources suggest that Diddy exerted considerable influence at Hot 97, the station that owned the interview. According to reports, Diddy's sway over the station even allowed him to have Wendy Williams fired. If Diddy requested to review Angie's interview or demanded it not be aired, it's unlikely the station would have denied him. As one insider put it, Puffy definitely heard the interview. Why else would he try to stop it? Adding another layer of intrigue, rumors claim that the federal authorities now possess the interview. As Diddy faces legal troubles, including potential RICO charges, there are whispers that the feds have reopened their investigation into Tupac's death. It's believed that the interview could provide critical insights into events leading up to Tupac's murder. The question remains, should Angie release the interview and let the public hear Tupac's final revelations? Or should she leave it in the hands of law enforcement and let them use it in their investigations? What do you think? Should Angie release the Tupac interview for the world to hear? Or should she let the authorities handle it as part of their investigations? Share your thoughts in the comments and stay tuned for more insights by checking out the next video.